right, so I'm trying something new. I have this microphone hanging on to my shamrock necklace. I don't know how this is gonna sound or what. So this is a total experiment. We'll see how this goes. I wanted to give you guys an update on my past week because it was an eventful one. I worked on my tattoos this week and they're coming in nicely. The week went by slowly for whatever reason. Usually my weeks just fly by. This was not one of them. What day was it? I guess it was Thursday. My coworker, Christian, his wife is an artist and was having this show at the Greenbelt Marketplace or Greenbelt Market, something like that, over in Garden City, right next to Boise. I was like, okay, I'll go to that and check it out. So I went very much out of my comfort zone because I really didn't know anyone. The only person I kind of knew was my coworker, and he didn't get there till later. So I was just kind of there trying to keep my anxiety under control. But I actually had a good time. It was a really fun place to people watch because it was right next to this place called Quinn's Pond. And at Quinn's Pond, they have this waterfall thing where these surfers like to surf. I'm sure there's a different word for it, but anyway, they were doing that. So it was fun to check the guys out. And then you had like people jogging and stuff, walking their dogs. And that was fun. I enjoy people watching. That was a great place to do that. And her art was beautiful. She does like a lot of paint pouring and stuff. So it was a good night. It was hotter than heck. But other than that, it was, oh, and before I went there, I went out to eat at Wepa's, I think it's a Puerto Rican restaurant. And so I had some interesting food that I hadn't had before. This fried meat of some sort. I think it was pork, I'm not sure. And I had this pina colada cheesecake. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like I was trying hard to taste the pina colada flavor in this cheesecake and I was just not really picking it up. To me, it tasted like a key lime cheesecake kind of situation. Maybe I could taste the pineapple a little bit, but it was very faint if it was there at all. Oh, and they had these, not sure what they're called, but they're like a meat turnover. So I had this turnover that had like pork or something in it. It was served with this Puerto Rican ranch dressing that was phenomenal. It was one of those kind of like hip kind of places where you would imagine seeing a bunch of gay guys. I think there was another gay guy sitting across from me at another table. Then on Friday, my work went river rafting up at, I don't know where, outside of Boise near Horseshoe Bend, Idaho. I don't have like any footage of that because my phone was in the locker. I didn't want to drop it into the river and never see it again. So I didn't bring it with me, but I'll tell you about it. It was our largest group ever. We had 12 people, and I think it was the first year that everyone actually showed up. We were split up into 2 different rafts. What was pretty cool, I'd never done this. Okay, I've river rafted before, but I never did what I'm about to tell you. We could go rodeo style, and that's where someone sits at the very front of the raft and they like hold on to some sort of rope thing and they go down the rapids on the front of the boat. So I did that. It was really hard. I didn't fall out, like I fell into the boat. I was sitting in the front most of the time. If you ever go river rafting, I recommend not sitting in the front because you're gonna get hit by so many waves, and I got so much water up my nose on this trip. I was getting very wet at the front, obviously, because it's river rafting. But eventually me and Dan switched spots and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so nice sitting back here. Like, I can see stuff. I don't have constantly water like coming in my face every time we hit a rapid. There was a jump rock and they said it was like 25 feet high. I wish you guys had, video of this, but me and some of my coworkers, we jumped off this rock. It was hard to tell how high it was until it was your turn to go, right? You climb up the rock, and so you just see people kind of disappearing when they jump. And so I get up there and I see, I'm like, oh yeah, that is very high. I jump, and on the way down, I'm like, this is gonna hurt. And it did. And I got so much, because you jump and the water spreads out and then it whooshes back in, up my nose, and oh my gosh, you guys, like seriously, my nose has to be so cleaned out at this point because it was so much water. My favorite thing that we did is the tea challenge, and what that is, so there was this stretch of calmer water, and in those areas you could, mess around and stuff. And so me and David, we did the T challenge, and what you do is you take your paddle, and the top of the paddle is shaped like a T, and so you hook the handles together, and you lean back as far as you can. Both of you lean back until you fall off, basically. And we got down pretty far, and somehow, like, I went back further, and so he came back into the boat, and I just fell into the water. It was a good time, very much, again, out of my comfort zone, but I did it, and I'm glad I did, and it was a lot of fun. And then after that, we went to Sonora, I think it was called Sonora Mexican. I don't know, I have a video of it that I'm gonna put on here, and I'm probably gonna see and be like, oh, I said it wrong. But anyway, it was like Sonora Mexican. It was really good Mexican food. I enjoyed it. If you're ever in Idaho, near Boise, Horseshoe Bend, Idaho, Sonora Mexican, or whatever it's called, good Mexican food. Today, I tried a Chinese restaurant. It was called Lucky Palace. I had sweet and sour pork. Their pork fried rice it just made me feel like it was Christmas. I had fried shrimp, and I asked my server, I'm like, okay, what do you recommend? What tastes good? And so she told me to try the beef and onions, which sounds boring, right? Beef and onions, okay. But she said it was good. She said that like one of the customers said it was life-changing. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And so it came out, and let me tell you guys, it was... Anyway, I hope you guys are doing fantastic, and I'll catch you later.